By the end of today's episode, you'll know if you're ready to start looking for auditions for real acting work. Welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we help aspiring screen actors find high-quality auditions, sign with great agents, and book major roles in legit productions. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and in today's episode, I'll share some key indicators that will tell you if you're ready to start looking for real auditions instead of only taking classes. Some of the specific things that we'll cover include how to know if your training and skills are good enough for real auditions, why most actors wait too long to start auditioning and how you can jump ahead of your competition, and finally, what casting directors really don't care about, and how these myths keep actors from submitting themselves to real auditions. So first, I want to say right off the bat that way too many aspiring actors hold themselves back too long when it comes to submitting for bigger projects. Many keep training for years, never feeling like they're ready to submit for real acting jobs. And this doesn't just apply to big SAG-AFTRA productions. It also applies to small student films and indie projects. The problem is that if you wait too long, it makes things significantly more difficult for you, especially if you're young. College and high school students should not wait until they finish school to begin looking for real acting work because the competition skyrockets once you reach your 20s. Casting directors are looking for actors of all kinds and all ages. This includes young and old alike. And even if there's, let's say, 2 to 3 times as many roles available for people in their 20s to 40s, the fact is there's 5 to 10 times as many actors out there in that age range, which means you're still going to have a lot more competition even if there's more roles available. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that most actors think that casting directors want actors who have an extensive resume, a huge reel, and lots of training. But this isn't always the case. In fact, it's often agents who want those things in the actors that they represent. Casting directors are just looking for the actor who looks and acts most like the character that they're currently casting for, even if that actor does not have the most training and credits out of everyone who auditions. So for those reasons, I recommend starting and submitting yourself for real productions as soon as possible. Not only will you start building audition skills and confidence in yourself, but you're also going to have an easier time building your network because you're going to start meeting people, and that can lead to other opportunities down the line. So how do you really know if you're ready? Well, here are just a few things to look for. Number 1, you have a basic understanding of acting fundamentals. This means you get how scenes work. You understand where the camera is, who the director is, what a script is, and you can memorize your lines for the most part. You don't need to know everything in depth. You just need to know the basics, and that can be learned in 20 minutes by watching some YouTube videos online. Next thing, you should be comfortable in front of a camera, okay? You don't need to be 100% comfortable, but you should also not obviously start sweating and freaking out. The best way to get comfortable with something, of course, is to do it more often. So auditioning for student films and other small projects that have lower stakes can get you working in front of the camera more often, even if it's just for small one-liner or background roles. And by doing those small projects, you'll become way more comfortable on camera. And then when you finally get to bigger projects, it's going to be a lot easier for you. Now, the third and last thing is just a willingness to learn and experiment. Okay, you need to have a positive attitude and be excited to try something new. So those are pretty easy, basic things, and that's purposeful because I want you to start submitting yourself as soon as possible. Now, notice, I didn't even say that you need to have done any acting classes. You don't need professional headshots. You don't need a reel. You don't need credits on your resume. I mean, how can you get credits if you don't have credits, right? That's the thing. You don't need them to get started. Credits don't really matter when you're starting to submit for small projects. Acting classes, as surprising as it is, they are not a requirement. I know plenty of people who've performed in student and indie films without any formal training at all. In fact, I know some actors who've been in major productions without any formal training. And oddly enough, sometimes certain training can actually hinder your performance, especially when it comes to screen acting. For instance, if you've taken a lot of theater classes, it can make your screen acting look a bit too big. So sometimes actors who have done no training at all can look more natural on screen and book the role over actors who have extensive theatrical training. The fact is, you should really start submitting yourself for projects as soon as possible. You can visit online casting websites like Actors Access or Backstage, and you can create a profile and then find some small independent and student films and start submitting your materials for consideration. It's easy and the stakes are low right now. The sooner you start learning that and getting comfortable with it, the sooner you'll start improving your skills and building your confidence to tackle bigger projects. And eventually, when you start looking for an agent, having all those submissions, auditions, and bookings on your resume will make them take you more seriously than an actor who only has training because they waited too long to start. So start submitting to real projects now. Your future self will thank you. Thanks for listening. Now, if you want to dive even deeper on how to get auditions, I highly recommend checking out my podcast episode called Where to Find Acting Auditions Without Agents, which is episode number 14. I promise you'll learn a ton and have a much better understanding of how to start moving your career forward more quickly. Check it out. Again, episode number 14, Where to Find Acting Auditions Without Agents, on the Actors Career Compass.